All right, guys, what's going on? Today I'm going to be showing you how to set up a HTML website in a very, very short amount of time and have a really good looking website very simply. So this is a method that I've used to do sites from $100 to $500 up into close to $20,000. So it's a method that works for small sites, for big sites. So if you're trying to set up a HTML website, if you're trying to get going fast, this video is going to show you how. So what I'm going to do first is just download the theme that I'm going to use. It is this theme called Sart. And this is the theme I'm going to use today. So you can get this on ThemeForest. I have no affiliation with these guys. I have worked with them before. It's a great theme. You can use whatever theme you want. But if you want to follow along with the exact same setup that I'm using, then I recommend this theme. Cool. So I got the theme downloaded. I'm now going to go ahead and unzip this file. If you haven't done this before, if you're a little unsure on how to set up a HTML theme from the very beginning, I made another video on this. I'll link it as the first link in my description, and I'll also link this theme as well if you want. So let me just put this on my desktop, downsize this browser, and go ahead and unzip this. So my first stage with this is just creating a job folder like this. Give it whatever name you want. There's nothing in here for now. And then I'm going to go ahead and open up this theme. So when you click into a theme, you're always going to have a few different folders. You want to find the main folder that contains all the files, which is here. And my first thing to do is arrange it by kind so that I can just copy all these main different things that I'm going to need. My CSS, my images, my JavaScript, my fonts, my PHP. So you're going to need all of these to make your theme work. So I'm just going to copy these and paste them over here. Cool. So to give you an idea of what I'm trying to do today, I'm setting up my own website for Fox Web School, which is a web design and kind of business course that I teach and sell. And these are the rough 6 pages that I want to have for now. So a homepage, an about page, how to learn web design page, how to grow a web design business page, and then the sales page for my course and the sales page for my mastermind group. So these are the rough 6 pages that I'll be doing today. I would recommend before you start building your website that you have a rough plan of your layout of what you're trying to do, and that just makes things go that much easier and that much faster. So now that I know the 6 pages that I want to build, I want to go back and find my first page that I want to use with the theme. So let me click in here and have a look at all the different styles that come with this theme. So when you click into any theme, you're going to have multiple different styles, kind of setups that they provide. So let me go down here. With this particular theme, we have this mobile app kind of demo site, mobile app 2, 3. We have a web app 2 and 3 as well. We have a barbershop, 3 of those. We have 3 agencies. We have 3 travel agencies, 3 restaurants. So we have all these different styles. So what I would do at this stage, if I was unfamiliar with this theme, is I would start clicking on these and having a look at the different styles and seeing what's closest as possible to what I have in mind when I picture my site. It's never going to be an exact fit, and I'm going to teach you in this video and future videos how to start editing these themes, but you want to start off with something pretty similar to the direction you're trying to go in. So when I start looking at these different pages, I'd have a look through and just kind of get a feel for the page, what I think about this particular page. Maybe it's a page that I like, but it's not really suitable as a home page. Maybe it's a page I just don't like altogether, or there might be 1 or 2 sections that I think are cool. So I'm just starting to get a feel for what I think would be best for my website. And I kind of already know what I want to go with in mind, which is, this is what I have in mind. This particular page I want as my home page. Just this top section though. So I'm going to show you this later. I want to use this section. I really like this style here. We have, because I'm going to have this little video, we're going to have a video, an image, and this little kind of intro bit of text from me. But further down here, I don't particularly like this style. But for now, this is okay. I'm just starting off with my kind of foundation of design. And this is the page I want to use for my homepage. So what I'm going to do is find this page within my theme. And the name of this here, you can see it is Index Restaurant HTML. And also when I clicked on it, it was the first restaurant. It was this one. So this will help me find it when I go to my files. So if I go back to the files here, this time I'm going to arrange it as a list, and I'm going to go down and just have a look for all the different themes. So I can start to see them here. I got my architecture themes, I got my barber themes, and you can tell obviously it's alphabetical. So I'm going to go down to or for restaurant, and I now have 4 different restaurant themes. I have restaurant 2, restaurant 3, restaurant 1 page, and restaurant HTML. So if I go back here, if I'm a little bit stuck, I can tell that this is not the 1 page because it has this menu up the top that links to all these, sorry, this is getting in the way, that links to all these different pages. So this is the multi-page version. And also another way of confirming this is if I go to the demos here and I come down restaurant, I can see that there's the original and there's the 1 page. And if I click on the original, it's going to be the same as what I just showed you. So I know that this page here is the page that I want to use. So I'm going to copy this and bring it across here and just paste it. So this isn't my final page. This isn't my final design, but this is my rough start to this website. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up in a text editor. A text editor is for designing a website offline before you put it online. The one that I use is called Brackets. It's free to use. I believe the website is brackets.io, and you can download it there. It's for Mac and Windows. So at the moment I have this folder already open. If I didn't, I would go File, Open Folder, find it on the desktop, and it's here, Fox Web School Project. I would just click Open, and now it's here. But there's nothing here, so what I need to do is go ahead and click on the index page like this, index.restaurant.html, and just click this live preview. I want to make sure everything's set up correctly. I want to make sure I have everything in the right place. So if you press this button and it doesn't look like this, it looks all weird. And keep in mind that some themes, the images are not going to show. They'll only show on the website like this. But when you download them, you have these blank images. So that's perfectly normal. But if this site came up and it just looked really, really strange, if it looked really, really weird, that just means you set the folders up a little bit incorrectly. So to show you what that might look like, let me go back here and just drag this out by itself. If you opened up your website and it looks like this, so it just looks like a straight Word document, this is just a raw HTML file, it means that it's not linking correctly to the information that it needs. So again, I covered this in that first video. It's in the description if you're stuck, but really, really short. It means that when it goes looking for the CSS files or the JavaScript or the images, that these file paths that it needs, and here's one file path right here, that these aren't in the correct order. So it's really important when you set up your folder, your work folder like this, that it's copying or it's the same as how the theme was when it originally came. So for example, you know, these folders are here and then you have these files below it. We want to have it the exact same way where we have the folders and then we have the files. We don't want to go putting files inside folders or outside in separate folders. They should be set up in the same format to work correctly. Again, that's in the other video, so I won't cover it in this video. So what I have for now is the rough first page of my website. So what I want to go and do now is go back to the theme and find the next 5 pages that I'm going to use. So with my plan, it was a 6-page website. For you, maybe it's a 1-page website or it's a 10-page website, whatever. You're going to go through and just find roughly the best pages you can for these different ideas that you have in mind for your different sections. So for example, I have my homepage for now. Even though it's not perfect, I'm going to fix that later. Next thing I want to do is find the about page. So for example, I could go in here to the theme and have a look through maybe some of these pages, the demo pages, or I could go to, with this particular theme, they have actual about designs. So for example, I might really like this page, which I do. This is pretty cool. I might go with this. So what I'm going to do now is just go through and find 6 pages that I like the most, that are the most suitable for what I'm trying to do. And then after I do that, I'll cover the next stage with this project. All right, so that only took me about 3-4 minutes. I am quite familiar with this theme. I've used it before. I know what pages I kind of want to go with pretty fast. For you though, take your time. This is an important stage of the project. You want to start off with something very, very similar so it reduces the amount of work later. If for now you're just beginning and you want to use the exact page as it is, that's fine too. If you don't want to customize it, completely up to you. But start with as close as possible, and either way, it's going to be better further on. So now that I have my 6 pages, we can go ahead to the next stage. So let me open up my project, and the first thing I want to do is change all these different names that I have here. So if I open up my Word document, and I'll just put it to the side here, reduce this down. So I have my home page with HTML themes, with HTML sites. Your main page, your home page, always has an exact name, and this name is index.html. You don't get to call it homepage, you don't get to call it something else. It always has to be called index. This is for when you host it online, that the website knows that this file with this particular name is what they should show to people first. So this is our first page. I'm going to double click on it, which puts it up the top here. It opens the file up. And my next page is the About page. So for this, I use the About style 1, and I'm just going to change this to About. Cool. This is my contact page. So let me change this, and I'll show you what all these pages look like in just a moment. Now I have these other ones. Let me just look at the original because I worked across the way. So my How to Learn Web Design was this Index Travel Agency. So I'm just going to call this one How to Learn, or How to Learn Web Design. So pretty long name to the page, but it's also very self-explanatory, which I want it to be. How to Grow a Web Design Business was my next one, which was this Index Web Application page. So for this one, Grow Web Design Business. Again, for whatever you're going to do, have the names whatever way you want it. The only one that has to be exact is this index page. All right, so the next one was this Index Web Application 2, which is the course sales page. So let me click on this. Web design course. And let me just open all of these up in order. So homepage, the next one was About, How to Learn Web Design, How to Grow a Web Design Business, course sales page, which is this one, and the contact page, which was actually an additional page I forgot, and I forgot to also get the mastermind group page. So let me pause this and grab that. All right, so I grab one more page. It's this one, and you can do it in either here or there. I'm going to just change it here. The name to, mastermind group. Cool, and that will change it here. And let me open this one up. And I'm just going to click and drag this up here. So they're in the order of how I will have them on the website, which is a nice way to just keep it organized as you do this project. So if I go ahead and open up any of these pages like this on the live preview page, I'm going to be able to see what this page looks like without the images. With this particular theme, the images don't come with it. With some of them, they will. But I can see the rough layout of the page here, and I can see some things that I'm going to keep. For example, this section, and some things that I'm going to remove. I'm not going to have a menu section, obviously enough. So this particular section will be getting removed. We'll get to that in the next video. For now, though, the first thing that I want to do is fix up the menu. So I'm not talking about this menu because it's a restaurant theme. I'm talking about the main menu of the site up here that links all these pages together. I really recommend doing this as the first thing with your design, so that as you design from that point onwards, it's very easy to figure out the flow of the website, how things are going to connect to each other, how your page, your website is going to be linked together. That's a really crucial part of design. You don't just design pages and then move on to the next page and not really think about the flow of how people are going to use it when they come across this web page. So it helps a lot to have this done first, and then you'll find later when your site is made that it has this really nice flow. Everything interacts great with each other, and people really enjoy using the website. So to do this, set up the menu first, and then also if you're going to have a footer with links, which we might have, set up that secondary as well. So to sort out this menu, what I'm going to do is just go to one of the pages, fix it on that page first, and then copy and paste that to the other pages. So I'm going to go to the index page first, and I want to go right to the top. So we can start to see the menu here. You can see these list items, and why when I click it, and I'll explain this in just now, why when I click this, it's showing over here, and when I click this other menu, which will be down here, it's showing up the top, is because there's two different menus with this theme. There's the mobile menu, so when I go small, this is the mobile menu, and there's also, when I go big, there's the full size menu. Because this is a responsive website and the way it's coded, there's two different menus to keep in mind here. So one of them is the side navigation menu. It actually clearly has it labeled here, and then it has this aside class. And if you go down to the very bottom of this, we will see this is a huge menu. We're going to see our other menu, which is in the header class, which is for up here, and we can now see here navigation, and then here's all our different items. So what we want to do first is just fix one of these menus, and then we can actually use it for the other menu as well. So I'm going to start, let me just make this a little bit bigger, and I'll actually drag this over so we can kind of see it as I go. I'm going to start fixing this menu. So at the moment, this menu is huge. For each of these drop downs, there's also additional boxes. We won't need any of this unless you're building a huge website, which you're probably not. So when I find this navigation class, which is here, first off, this is some additional cart menu. I don't want this. So what I'm going to do is just highlight all of this here and just delete it like this. And also I'm after activating something else. I'm going to delete that too. And I'm left with this. So if I refresh, and this is a good idea to do this as you go, we can see that this menu is still working just fine, even though we got rid of that code that was in there. So I want to keep this book table button, which is here. If I highlight it, we can see it. And I'm actually going to make two of these. So one for the course and one for the mastermind. So let me just put it like this. And then I'm going to have my 4 other pages here. So this part of the menu is the way I want it. And now I'm going to focus on these different parts here. So again, for whatever theme you're using, this might be slightly different. Maybe you don't want any of these buttons on this particular theme, then go ahead and just delete all of this. Let me just do it to show you. And you would be left with just normal things. But I'm going to put that back in for my own design. And now I'm going to start on these. So the first one here, when I highlight this, it highlights this whole list item, which we can see is a lot of information, and it's highlighting this whole different button. So what I want to do is just have this one link, just the word. It doesn't have to drop down into the section. So I'm going to delete everything underneath this, and it's going to be quite a lot of information. So let me just keep going down. And now I'm left with just the list item and the link and the name that link's going to have. And I'm even going to change it so it looks a little bit different, just the formatting. So it looks like this. And now when I refresh this, for this one, there's no drop down. It's just the name, which is exactly how I wanted. And we can see that the rest of them still have the other drop downs. So there's 2 ways of progressing from this point. We could do the exact same thing for each of these. We're basically deleting the inner list item like this. Or we could just copy and paste this part that we've already done 4 times and just delete all the other list items, which is actually what I'm going to do. And I'm going to go down to the end of this. And I'm going to get rid of this bit of code. Hopefully you can follow along with this. And now I have these 4 different exactly the same name links, and I have my 2 other links. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and name these correctly. So again, let me downsize, and I'm going to have the home page. Move this over just a bit. I'm going to have the About Fox Web School. I'm going to have the Learn How to Code page. I'm going to have the Grow a Web Design Business page. And I'm also going to, let me add in one more. I keep forgetting that I have a 7th page. I'm going to have the contact page. And if I go back up here, I'm going to have the mastermind and the web design course. So I might change the names of these links in a few minutes. I want to see how this looks on the page. Let me just refresh everything. So it's looking way too big, which is what I thought might happen. So what I need to do is downsize the names on a few of these. So home, about us, learn to code. So just making these a little bit smaller. Starting web design or something, contact us, mastermind, and Fox course. So now I can fit them all on the same page, and I could even edit these names again later. This is just temporary for now. But what I want to do is this. I want to go ahead and start linking these to the correct page. So the first one is index. It was already there, but I'm just going to add in this part. The next one is about. This is the learn page, which was called how to learn. So you can see it's coming up automatically. The next one is to grow a web design business. So grow a web design business, contact page. And then if I go back up to these 2, I'm going to change this one to mastermind. And I'm going to change this one to web design course. So one thing to keep in mind when you're doing a menu or any sort of links is that in general there's 2 sort of links. You have a link that leads you to another page, or you have a link that brings you down or up on the page that you already are. So with these 2 buttons here, we can see that there is a class called scroll link. And what that means is these buttons were intended to scroll down the page. And if I go back to the theme and I click this book table, you can see what happens. It brings you down the page. I don't want it to do that. I want it to bring me to another page. So what I'm going to do is look in the classes for that particular thing that's causing it to do that. In this particular theme, it's got a really obvious name called scroll link, which is great. So I'm just going to remove scroll link from either of these, and now it's free to link to another page. So when I go ahead, refresh this, and I click, it's going to bring me to the other page just fine, which is perfect. So let me go back here and to the index page. So we now have our menu the way we want it for one of our menus. This is our top menu, and now we have to do the side menu. The thing about the side menu is it's not going to have these 2 particular buttons. So when I downsize and we look at the side menu, which is here, it's in the wrong place for now, we don't have this button option. So I'm going to have to do that slightly differently, which is fine, but I just want to be aware of that. So again, this might be different with the theme that you're using, but as you go, just always check after each little kind of change that things are still working as they should be. You don't want to make a mistake, keep going, and then later you're trying to figure out what code you messed up. You want to check your work as you go. It makes it a lot easier. So this is our top menu, or sorry, our side menu here. We can see the code under this aside class, side navigation. So again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click my first list item. I'm going to keep the link because I want the link, but I'm going to remove all that information below the link that we don't want, which brings us to here. I now have our first list item, so I'm just going to bring it back like this, and then I'm going to delete all the other list items. And back up. So I now have a menu with just one link. So let me show you this. Cool. That's obviously not what we want, but at least we know that it's there and it looks correct. So let me find where that was. It's right here. So what I'm going to do is copy paste this and make 7 of these. And then I'm just going to go in and do the exact same thing again in the order that I want it. So I'm going to have, sorry, that's not the right place. In the href here, I'm going to have my index. I'm going to have my about. The next one, which is how to learn web design, I'm going to have the grow web design business, the web design course, the mastermind, and the contact us page. But all these names are still in here as demo, so I also have to change all of these. And here we go. I got all the names that I want. When I click on the menu like this, they now all come up on the side. This is only going to be visible on a mobile device or something very, very small. One thing though, and we can see here, is this is really weird. The menu, the hamburger icon, which is what these are called, this is here. We have these 2 buttons here, and we have our icon here. So this, it looks good at this size, but as we get smaller, it starts to get really messed up. So what I want to do is not have these buttons show on a smaller device. So let me go down to where they are here and just look for this section. So it's this section here. You can see that when I click it, it's highlighting around this. What I want to do is just put in a class here. I think for this theme, it's called Hide on Mobile. Yes, it is. And you can see it magically disappears. And when I go smaller, it looks good. But now there's no menu whatsoever. So what did I do wrong here? I did it for the whole navigation while I should have just done it for those list items. So let me copy this, put it back. And now for the list items, I'm going to add it in as a class for them. So let me see if it works here. Refresh. Nope. So let me just do it for each class. Sorry, for each list item. Cool. So I just got rid of one, and I'll just copy this and put it in here. Whoop, wrong place. Put it in here. So now on a smaller device, looks perfect. Cool. So we got our menu set up the way we want it. Later, I'm going to change this icon, but not for now. And we have it looking good on all different sizes. So this would be like a desktop or a laptop size. As we get smaller, this would be maybe an iPod right here. Sorry, an iPad. And then as we get smaller, here we would have a phone, and the menu still looks good. There's a few things here left to change. We have our social media links down here, which we can see. Let me just click on this and we'll show you where it is. Right here, so I would go ahead and switch these out for whatever I want. Maybe YouTube instead of Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I would put in my own copyright thing here. But this menu is pretty close to the way we want it. I will leave you to make these changes yourself. They're going to be different for every theme. So our next stage here is to go ahead, copy all this work that we did, copy both this top menu, or sorry, the side menu, and also copy the top menu. And then go ahead and put that on all the different pages. So I'm starting here from the side menu and I'm going the whole way down to the bottom of the header. So when I go to the About page, I want to basically find those same sections. So I'm starting again at the side menu. I'm going the whole way down to the bottom of the header. So we're replacing all this code. Keep going. And the bottom of the header is here. Paste. And now when I refresh and make it the correct size, now we have the same menu. But this looks a little bit different. Why does it look different? Because the CSS files are different for both of these pages. So we can see with this theme, there's a different CSS styling file than there is with this theme. So I want to grab the same CSS and drop it into here. And now my menus look the same. So if I click home, I go back to the home page. If I click about, I'm now on the About Us page. My menu is starting to link together between these two pages, but I want to copy and paste it to all the different pages so that my whole menu works. I'm not going to show you how to do that because it's going to take a few minutes. Just going to pause the video and then we'll go over it. All right, so I've gone ahead, I've copied and pasted that code to all the different pages, and now my menu is perfectly connecting each page to the next, and I can start to see this different flow and start to think of what design I might want on each pages and how I want people to interact with this website. The other thing left to do at this early stage is to go ahead and fix our footer. So this is your footer section down here at the bottom. It has, when you click on the code, it has this footer tag, so you can also identify it that way. And again, you just want a consistent style across all your different pages. So maybe you're going to have a small footer like this with just your company name, whatever details about your company that you want, some links to social media, and just a little bit about your copyright or whatever information you want here as well. So what you should do is write that up for one of the pages, so change it around. So for example, I'm not going to do the whole thing, but maybe I put in Fox Web School like this, and then I do the other information, link it to my social media, put in my links here to social media, and I'll copy this whole footer section, and then on the next page, go down to the bottom, which is where your footer is going to be. You can see the start of it here, and this footer is a lot bigger. We got a lot more code because there's a lot more going on here, but I'm just going to copy all of this, delete it, and put in the style that I want. So now it's the exact same. It's nice and consistent across all my different pages. So when I click back on the home page, I got the same footer as I have in the About page. And this just really makes your design look professional. You don't want people to be confused as they're navigating your website, where on one page they click on the menu and it looks like this, and then they get to another page and there's a completely different style of menu. That's very confusing and very frustrating for people using your website. They're probably going to leave. Same with your footer. People want to see this as being something consistent. So even if your pages are changing the design, within your pages, which they should be, you should always have a consistent menu and a consistent footer. It's kind of a trust and consistency thing. They want to see that this is a professional website. They want to see that there's some consistency in the design, in the branding, in the marketing from one page to the next. Having a consistent menu and having a consistent footer really, really helps with that. So that is it for this video. This is the first stage of putting a HTML website together. In the next video, I'm going to be covering how to start changing around the design within the page itself, creating the different sections that you want, creating calls to action, creating little links to different pages for how different people are going to interact with your website, how they're going to use it. And then eventually we'll cover also changing out the text and changing out the images, and then the final touches in putting this website live online. Check out the link for the other video I have with how to set up the initial stages of a HTML theme, if you're a little bit confused with how to do that. Also have some links in there about this actual business, how to learn web design. This is what I teach, how to go about growing your web design business, improving your sales with web design, working with better clients, and just having a lot more fun doing this. I also have a mastermind group as well. So check out all those different links. They're in the description, and catch you in the next video where we're going to take this even further. So thanks for watching.